All right.
You are live.
All right. So give us just a moment here. We kind of had a little glitch.
I gotta turn the camera around.
Then you
It's showing me.
come here, hand it to me.
It's not big of a I got everything. Actually, I determined that I do it there. Just go to
Okay.
RV Kids back.
Which way?
Just that way. All right.
They got everything hoses.
Sorry, we're delayed here for a moment, but all right. So I'm Lucretia, and I am one half burning up the roads. The other half is behind the screen there. So we're not going to really have time today to look at who's here and who's not here. I'm hoping that my moderators will actually kick in for us and pick up the hellos, because there's going to be 4 ladies here that we want to hear from, and that's most important today. Not that y'all aren't important, but you know what I'm saying. All right. So to preface this, last over on this to yep, right over here. To preface this, last night I watched Nomadland, and I was extremely moved emotionally by it. Big surprise, I know. I was. And so when I knew I was going to interview these 4 ladies that have experience as nomad women, but I didn't have really a big picture of how I was thinking about it. I just wanted to know their stories. And I thought doing it as a group of women would be fun. So I now have a way I think I'd like to do this. Just bear with me. So just going to summarize. I don't know if there's any new people in this chat today. If you, before I go there, if you could share this out to your community tab and or your social media, so we can get some new people in here and just get as many people in, because there's 4 women going to be offering up some great tips and advice and experience on being a nomad. So I'm a new nomad. My husband and I have been out here for a month, and we're extending our stay for another 2 weeks. We have to go home and take care of things, but anyways, we're starting our journey. And there's things that I've shared I don't care for. There's things that I love, and overall, it's been a good experience. The limited experience we have. So I'm gonna now. What I would like to do is have you, or kind of pan around to who we're going to see and hear from today. Here on my left, we have Kim from Calgary. I'm all covered up. And we have Becky from Roy and Becky's Travels. And we have Gypsy from Artist on the Road. And we have non-content creator rock star, Catherine Cook. So I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to start with Catherine. And I'd like to ask a question and see, just have you answer the best of your ability. First of all, how long have you been on the road?
5 years.
5 years. And what made you want to endeavor this lifestyle?
Well, we kind of always told the kids that we were going to do this. We wanted to travel after, the kids were grown and out of school and taken care of and that. So, and, kids, they spread out. So it's a way of, getting to see them. So it's always been in our blood. We're going to do this. And they didn't think we were crazy either.
Yeah, they didn't think you were crazy.
No. They just always calling you, where are you? Arizona? Where in Arizona? None of your business. But we usually when we move, we let them know, because you always want somebody to know where you're going. Even though on my phone I have 2 other people that are tracking, so they always know when I'm moving. So if I'm going to town, it's like, where are you going? So it's like, just going to town for the day. So you always want somebody to know where you're at, just in case.
Right.
You break down and you don't have signal, they know which way you're going.
And what kind of rig are you in?
We're in a Class A. Coachman Miranda, she's right behind us. We got her a year and a half ago. The first vehicle we had was a Class C American Clipper. So kind of wore the engine out of that after 3 years. So we had to go get something else, and we decided to go up and go bigger, more room.
So you've been on the road 5 years or 4?
5.
Okay. And you went from a smaller class C to a bigger class A. And do you like that move? Is there, what do you think about the change? I guess that's a better question.
Well, you live different in a Class C than you do a Class A, so you have to learn a whole new routine. Because it just is. You got more room. You don't put everything in the same place. You don't pack up everything the same way. So, just different. All right.
And Gypsy, thank you for coming. And by the way, ladies, thank you for coming and participating, because y'all didn't need to do this, and I'm glad that you did. So, Gypsy, same kind of thing. How long have you been doing this? What the hell made you want to do it, and what are you in?
I'm in a Class A back there in 1990 Holiday Rambler. Been full time since July of last year. And I've just always wanted to do this. I've always had a wandering spirit, and the opportunity came up about 4 years ago. I started putting the plan in place, got debt free, and bought the rig and quit the job, and here I am.
So there's a good point. You became debt free before you did it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't want any debt. Paid everything off. Bought the rig outright.
Sounds like a smart way to do it.
It'd be hard to have debt hanging over your head and try to like stuff.
And other than your beautiful hokey right there, do you travel with anybody else?
Just friends here and there.
You don't have a partner that's helping you. You're doing this on your
All
own.
by myself.
And Catherine, are you by yourself, or are you traveling with somebody else?
I have a husband of 42 years.
Okay, cool. And now Becky, Roy and Becky travels, and you've got on your shirt. Show it off.
I've been live stream hopping today.
I know you have. I know. This is number 3 for Becky. And before Becky starts, if you're a moderator, could you please drop the links for, I know Catherine is a non-content creator, but drop a link for Artist on the Road, for Roy and Becky Travels, and for Rome Town Girl. All right, go ahead, Becky. Kind of the same thing. How long have you been doing this?
Full timing over a year.
Okay.
We've been camping since 17, 18 years. Started out camping with the kids, moved up to 2 pop-ups. We had our other travel trailer. We had it 2 weeks before I sold it. Hated it. And then we ended up buying our hybrid. I just loved it. But right now we're in a 1982 Ford Honey. It's a Class C. And we will be heading back home to Indiana to pick up the travel trailer, because we have discovered you need an extra set of wheels out here. Honey's fine, but some of these parking lots are not suitable for Class C's or bigger rigs.
And what made you want to start doing this? Did you just one day pop in your head like, let's go for a long, long trip?
We like traveling. Like, we've been taking the kids, like I said, 17 years. They were little when we started camping and dragging them from state to state. Roy got cancer. After watching my mom battle her cancer and telling us that there's anything you want to do in the life, do it now. Your golden years, he said, pretty much suck. So here we are.
Right. And what does your family think about you traveling like this?
My middle sister has been the most supportive. We have a few that thought we were nuts, didn't understand why we wanted to leave. And I said, we're not leaving, we're just traveling.
Right.
So, but like, it's our life. Our kids are grown. They know we're only a phone call away if they need a question answered.
And I forgot to ask you, Gypsy, do you have family that has any concerns or questions about your lifestyle? All right. So Kim, and hold it. I want to make sure she gets this nice and her mouth. Get her mouth nice and visible. All right.
So, unlike everyone else, I didn't even know this existed. So I've been on the road this is my 3rd year. And my dream was to have a cabin in the mountains in Big Bear. And so I was in a cabin. I had rented it for the winter. And apparently that came with a whole slew of rules or things I needed to do, one of which was to be prepared for the power to go out. So I needed to have a way to boil water and things of this, a flashlight, a crank radio, and I've never camped, so I didn't know what any of that stuff was. Anyway, so I'm online and I'm looking up on Google, and then I'm going over to YouTube and I'm looking at reviews and unboxings, and you know how YouTube works, right? So it sees what I'm looking at, all this camping gear, and it starts making all these suggestions. So it starts with the RV, full-time RVers, and the solo women RVers, and I actually found Carolyn's RV Life. That was my entree, and I basically went on a 3-day bender. And I could not stop watching videos of people that were full-timing. And then I figured out that all these people come to Fort Time in January. And so I decided to rent an RV, go to the big tents. I didn't know anything about the RTR, so I kind of showed up right as it was ending. I blame Carolyn's RV Life for that, but that's another story. Anyway, but I thought just for a hint, I'd see if I could go find them that first year out in Scatamouche, and I did. There were people that were staying after, so I always say that I did the after RTR.
Weren't you waving people down?
Yeah, because if any of you have ever been there or watched the videos, you go down this ungodly road that is like washable. It is the most awful road ever. And so I'm venturing down there, not sure I'm going the right way, and I noticed that as the fingers, I'll call them, go off to the different camping areas, people have placed banners so you can identify, like, this is where this group is, and this is where that group is. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they've taken those signs down because it's over. So as people are coming the other way, I'm like flagging people down. Excuse me, is this the right way to the RTR? And they're like, oh, honey, it's over. And I'm like, that's okay. Am I going the right way? And I ultimately found my way there. So, yes.
And you've been doing this for how long?
I'm going on 3 years.
Wow, 3 years.
And I had such a good time at that post RTR, and all the things I did, because I also stayed in a park and I wanted to dump, and I just wanted to like experience as much as I could in like the week or 10 days I had that RV that I rented. And I was renting this cabin up in the mountains for this winter, and as I was driving back, I thought, I don't spend another dime on this cabin. I want to take what I have left, and I want to go buy an RV, and that's what I did.
And who do you travel with?
Well, there are 2 women that I met very early on, and they've kind of been my tribe. Off and on, I will, cross their paths, but different people. I don't
have a partner, anybody that are you by yourself?
My dog. I have 2 doggies.
2 doggies. Solo RV traveler, yep. Solo RV traveler. Okay. And then couple married, 3 married ladies. All right. So your entree was through Carolyn's RV Life. What was your entree, Becky? Did you actually start seeing all this stuff? Do you remember?
My favorite was Becky, but she has since passed from Bernie, Becky and Hank. She had a Volkswagen van. Okay. She was my inspiration just to go out. Now Roy was he liked Van City. And then Roy's watched more on it than I have. I like Becky because her spirit. It could be the worst, nasty area to be camping, and she still had a smile.
Helps.
Her positivity, I guess.
In Gypsy, was there some things you watched or some people you ran across? I mean, most of us, I didn't know this existed either, the idea that people lived on the road. How did you find it?
I always knew it was a thing, longer than I can remember knowing that I knew it was a thing. I didn't know how big the community was. So I knew this existed. I knew people lived in RVs. They bought them and they lived full time traveling. but I didn't know how many of us there were out there, how many nomads existed, and what community and family type orientation that it was. So that was sort of a pleasant surprise. I mean, I've known for a really long time I wanted to do this. It was always in the plans when my ex and I retired. And he became my ex, and I said, well, bye. I'm going. He's like, you are? Uh-huh. We'll send lots of pictures. Okay, I'll do that. See ya. Yeah. So, I did a good 4 years of research when I finally made the decision, started working on getting debt free, and that's when I started finding my tribe. Becky's one of them. I've been here since November. No, started December. Yeah, I got down here in December, but I've been following you guys for way over a year. And there was a couple other channels and lots of research. Yeah.
Catherine, so how did you guys discover this life? I know a little bit about your story, you know, where your husband worked for 35 years or
30 years
30
at a
years?
hospital.
30 years in a hospital, very stable job, went to work, came home. How the heck did you find this? And well, I guess I mean the community of travelers.
The person I found
Nomads.
was Nomadic Fanatic, Eric. And from Eric, it just sort of like boondocked off to Pandemonium, you know, all the old timers, Carolyn, that you said. There's Carolyn RV, Carolyn, that's from Washington. I watched her. I met her up in Washington. Just incredible, but he's a single guy, so it's like, no, not my thing. So you just, you know, things just kind of start popping up, but we kind of came down for Jamie's van build, and then that's when you start meeting everybody, and that's when we met Becky. In fact, if you go back to her at the van build, you'll see Homer on video with her. So, I mean, we pop up on everybody's video. We part of 4 or 5 tribes now, so you'll see us pop up anywhere.
Which a question I have for you specifically is about why do you follow all these people? You don't have a channel that you're trying to build. What do you get out of the support you give? Is, you know, it fills a
See
niche
where
somehow.
they go to put that on my bucket list. I also follow Brian, Vetrovan Man. I mean, he goes to a lot of secluded places with his van, and we can't do that with a Class A. But I mean, some of the areas that he goes to is like, oh, I got to go see this. Maybe I can find something that I can fit my rig in, whether it's in a RV park and rent a car and go. But it's pretty much just looking to see where everybody else is. So,
Kim, what kind of barriers did you find to start with? Well, actually, what did you leave behind? What did you give up to do this?
Well, I had a house, but I never wanted a house. But you know, I thought I'd try it. Right? I had a corporate job and a house for my mom and wanted for me, so I tried it on, and it never fit well. So I was more than happy to sell my house, and it always felt like an albatross around my neck. No, I didn't start this to be a full-time nomad. Or, well, yeah, I thought I'm going to travel around in my RV, go see all different places, and find my new home. And then my new home, I was going to have a tiny home. So that was the original plan, and I thought, what a great way to go really check out different places and really try them on and see where I wanted to call home. And I had a criteria. I had to be able to get a job, and had to be affordable, and had to be pretty, and I like cold weather, and blah, blah, blah. And I actually found it. I found what I was looking for early on in Bellingham, Washington. Found this adorable little RV park. It had mobile homes and RVs. And what made it really special, because, you know, I don't know, a lot of those places look like people have gone there and they're just like waiting to die. What made this place so charming is everybody had really taken pride of ownership of their little plot of land. So it was like landscaped and cute little things, and it was just adorable. It was affordable. And of course, they didn't have a vacancy, but that doesn't stop me. So I had already, by the time I left there, I'd already met like 3 people that lived there. I had their little form to fill out. So I was going to just, wait for something to open. And as I'm driving away, I'm thinking to myself, this was my first year on the road, so I hadn't been on the road that long. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so if something comes available, I'm going to have to get a pest control guy, and I'm going to have to find somebody to build me like that little deck with the stair thing. And I'll have to spend a little bit of money on landscaping, right? So I keep up with the Joneses and that. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait. Like, all my newfound freedom was just I could feel it just draining out of me. And I knew in that moment that I did not want to be sad, that I wanted my landscape and my environment to constantly be changing until I have no business driving anymore. And then we'll cross that path. But that was my seminal moment where it went from, I want to find a place to call home and have a tiny home, like, no, I don't. I want to keep running around, and I want to go see the whole United States. So I got a little bump with this virus thing right now, but that's the plan, is to go see the whole United States.
And Becky, yep. So you have a home you're going back to deal with,
Yep.
and what's your, why do you like this?
Oh yeah,
What do you like about it?
I like that I can turn to my yard changes. I hate the 9 to 5 work schedule. You're working to make somebody else rich. You're not. What are you gaining? I mean, we did the house because that's what we were raised with. Had the kids, the 2 cars, and it got to where I hated getting up to work. Not the people. I just hated getting up and going to work. Same stuff every day. You live for the weekend. The weekend we get here, we go camp, and then Sunday you have to go home. I have to go home now. Home is where I park it.
And it doesn't sound like the work you did was fulfilling for you.
That's quality control, but like you get stuck in a rut. I knew I wasn't going to be able to move up because of the qualifications and all that. So, like I told him when he got the cancer, we went through the radiation, and then he was done. He said, "We're done." He goes, "What?" I said, "You're not promised tomorrow. You already had cancer once. It can come back and come back hard. We both have bad backs. I want to get out and I want to see some stuff." And my mom knew that was one of our goals as a couple, was to go see stuff. And she told us, go. I didn't go right away, about 2 years, 3 years. Then we started planning it, and then we left. So, yeah, I don't know. My sister said I was a wanderer. Even as a kid, I was always off throwing I was tomboy. I was always outside. My grandparents started the itch for camping when I was little. Grandpa would drag grandkids with him. That started it right there as a young age, and I just enjoyed camping. And then it's progressed to now we're full time.
It's different than camping.
Yeah, no, I don't have to hurry up, pack up, go home, rest up for the work week.
So Gypsy, you do what kind of stuff do you're an artist on the road. So the work that you did before
Corporate job was in finance.
Oh.
I was a finance manager for many years. A soul-sucking corporate job. So, love that. Yeah, the other side of me, artist, painter, photographer, jewelry designer. So now I do that time.
What's that feel like to be able to do to just decide I'm doing this is what I'm going to be doing for a while, painting or jewelry or photography?
there wasn't any other choice. Like Becky just said, tomorrow's never promised. I don't know that I can make it to retirement age. That's a health problem. So that's definitely not guaranteed for me. So I just made the leap of faith to quit the corporate job and do it now, because I don't know that I'd be able to do it in a year, 3 years, 5 years. So taking advantage of the fact that I'm still alive.
Another opportunity. Get up and do something you like to do. And Catherine, so one of the things people are always interested in is how do you live out here? So it does require there be money. How do you guys do some road work, or you do
We're pretty much have our Social Security. We have savings just in case we break down. We want to do the camping coach type thing, so that could be in the future too. So
Kim, you said you'd sold a house, and is there anything that you do on the road to help supplement, or was it just this mansion that gave you the rest of your life?
No. I had enough savings to get me out on the road for a little over a year. And I also hit the road debt free. Partially because I sold the house. That made it easy. So I was debt free. And along the way, I met Bob, and I actually wound up Bob Wells, Chief RV Living.
Okay.
And he taught me how to do editing. And so I edited for a while. So that's now what I do when I need extra income, is I do video editing for the other YouTubers. And of course, I'm starting my own channel. And I am very good. I've always been very good about budgeting. And so the way I work is I always put money towards the future. Because major emergencies aside, I know what it's going to cost me every month. And so I'm always like tickled to say, like right now, if I never earned another dime, I can pay my bills all the way till next January 2022. And I won't touch that money because that's what it's allotted. So I like to always save forward. It's like a game. So, but of course, if I don't work, I'm going to be out of money by February of 2022. So it incentivizes me to keep working. So.
Yesterday when you and I were chatting, you made a good point about something you do is that that you put aside $100 a week for travel. So you've been here for 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And you haven't moved once.
Right? I know. I won't say how many times you've moved.
Every other day. And you don't use that for anything else. That is simply travel money.
Yeah. So part of the way I budget is I have an amount, say every week or every month. Mine's based on how much it costs me to fill my gas tank, which is around $100. So every week, or $400 a month, that is allotted for gas. Well, if I don't go anywhere, as Lucretia said, then I still have that money. What that creates for me is when I do need to stay in an RV park, or when I do hit a period of time where I'm moving, I've got a reserve of money that is especially allotted for that. And so I, in this whole time, have not found myself in a position where I'm like, oh, I can't go there, or I can't stay here, because I've created a reserve of funds, and it ebbs and it flows. I do that the same with propane, because propane you'll spend a lot in the winter and not as much in the summer. I do that with laundry. Like every single thing has an allotted amount, and whether I use it or not, I've got a reserve. So God forbid the time comes where I am running short of money or whatever, I know I can travel and have gas money. I can do my laundry. I can put propane. So that's how I do it, and it works really well. And of course, if I have money that is not assigned to something, it'll burn a hole in my pocket. So it's also a trick for me that if that money's for that, that's all that money's for.
You're able to stick to that. Some of us are a little more challenged, but Yeah, no, that's a smart way to do it.
It's a game.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's a game. A little spreadsheet, and I see the numbers. So, that keeps me wanting to play the game and do that. Like, how far in the future can I get my money to go?
So Becky, when you guys have traveled here and you pretty much have hung out in Arizona.
Yeah.
Have you come across, points in time where you're like, I'm done with this. I'm just really bored. It doesn't seem like it used to seem.
I'm always a busybody. I always take care of the son. Whether you still got housework. That's a daily thing. We do excursions every now and then where we hike. I like to start hiking more, but I have not been bored with it yet. I have my needle points. I have my sketch pad. So
You got stuff to do.
I got stuff to do.
How about, well, I'm not going to ask about Roy because this is a ladies' day. And so you pass your time, for the most part, you are a worker bee.
Yeah, I'm always doing something besides the houseworking type stuff. Yeah. So either I'm working on a jewelry design or a painting, or I try and make myself sketch every day. It's just because I've been doing it for 30 plus years doesn't mean I've learned everything there is to learn. So I am forever working to increase my skill set, whether it's with the jewelry design or painting, sketching, photography, whatever it is. So I'm always, and I'm redoing the interior of the rig, so that's
Making it brighter
oh yeah.
instead of dark and drabby.
Yeah, so I'm repainting all of the cabinets, redoing all that, and then it will be putting the artistic touch. So it will be completely covered in trees and vines and animals all on the ceiling and the cabinets, and the walls. So that's going to take a while. And then I'm going to do a mural on the front of the rig on the outside. So
You're really going to be busy.
yeah, I'm never not doing something.
Catherine, I've spent a little time with you, and I happen to know you're very busy with your hands, or you're doing something all the time in order to, we wake up and we do. There's days I would like to just come and sit outside and not do another thing, or talk to another human being, or anything at all. What do you do for your days? But I don't get to do that, but yet.
Well, we can still do that. Sit out, for a while and just enjoy the sunshine, since everybody else is having snow or rain back home for us. So, no, I knit, I crochet, I'm a quilter. So I've always, my sewing machine's under the table, so I can always pull that out for repairs or whatever. Mostly repairs. Don't have anything going on right now, but those I'm getting when I go home.
So do you find yourself ever wondering what's next? How are we going to, as time passes, I'm 59 years old. I have health issues. There's things that actually happened on this trip. How do you handle health issues, or if maybe you don't have any? Because when we're on the road, I'm away from my doctors. I've got 3 doctors I work with a lot, and I'm gone from them. Do you ever have any? How have you handled health related things that you need to deal with that come up?
Well, mostly accidents that come up when you're traveling. I was house sitting for my daughter, and I was using my son-in-law's knife and cut right through my finger, and had to find emergency to go get glued because they don't staple you, they don't sew you up anymore. So,
I got super glue right in there.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have even gone. It came, the glue came off at 10 o'clock at night. So all I did was bandage it up tighter to keep it together so it wouldn't, bleed, because I was bleeding like a mofo. So, you just handle that.
Wow.
So, other than other health things, both Homer and I got some muscle pains in our calf that we had to deal with. Homer went to ER. I didn't. I just followed what they said for him. So, um, and we're pretty much healing up now. So, but I feel the pain in my calf right now. I have to be careful because if I sneeze or cough, I have instant pain right in my tailbone. And so it's just a matter of, when you got pain like that and my cupboards are higher and I stretch, then it makes that pain move. So I have to learn to, okay, get the step stool out, get up there or crawl up on the dinette and get in to get what I need instead of stretching up. So,
Have you had any trouble getting if I don't want to go, overstep into any boundaries, but if you need medication, if you take medications, do you have any trouble getting them?
well, the beginning of our travels, yeah, I was on blood pressure medicine, and pretty much I just call my doctor to have her, take it to Walmart, and I pick it up there. So if I get, there's always walk-in. I've walked into walk-in clinic just to be able for her to get it because for some reason it wasn't working with our doctor, long distance. So she was able to get me enough medicine. So we were heading back home. So I got enough medicine that I could get home. And then being out here, you lose lots of weight. The first year I lost 20 pounds. Second year I lost 20 more. And because of losing that weight, I'm now off of my blood pressure medicine. So I don't need it anymore.
Oh, I was
So-
just looking for my sweet.
I know.
But out here we
Not going
eat.
home.
Out here we eat different. When you live in sticks and bricks, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Out here it's maybe breakfast and dinner, and that's it, and maybe a snack or two, and that's it. And you're usually hiking off to something, or you're always active, so you're not that hungry.
Yeah, I'm a lot more active out here than I ever was in sticks and bricks. Always seems there's something to do. Getting up, setting up solar, you got to clean up the rig, or you're sitting out with your friends, or we're parked all together here, so you walk around and you're visiting each other, or I take him out to play more than I did back home, kind of thing. So I've seen you playing out with your dogs, chucking the ball for them and stuff.
Did you
too,
notice
so.
though that I don't move? I just throw the ball and
Yes, I
she
did. No.
runs. I guess I've been doing this wrong. I've gained weight, but
But you're standing there. It still burns calories.
I eat the same as I did.
Still counts.
I do all. I just brought that life and I just plugged it into the I've got room for improvement.
Because one of the lines I always stuck in my head that you said on one of your videos is, I like to see nature from the inside of my RV.
I've never been an outdoors person,
I've
and I'm still not. So I always say I like to be parked in pretty places. Like they were making fun of me because I've literally almost backed myself off the wash over here. But it's because I wanted to be with all the bushes outside my window because that's what I like. Is I like my nature through the window. I don't like to be out in it.
See, I like to be in it. But
I've always been out in it. When our kids were little, we were always hiking. If we wasn't camping, we would go to our local state parks and hike. One of them, Roy's not allowed to lead any hikes. I'm warning you all right now. That man can get lost. Yeah, but so we have Potato Creek State Park. We have Tippy Canoe. We've covered all those hiking trails. Potato Creek has a vast amount of hiking. We've done Indiana Dunes. We've done Clifty Falls. We've done Turkey Run. I mean, I've always been active, but you wouldn't know it by my pictures back then.
Speaking of turkey, an example of how I haven't changed a thing. Yesterday I was hankering for Thanksgiving food, so I'm running around. Who's got cream of mushrooms? I made a variation of Thanksgiving yesterday, so much for eating differently. I got to figure that part out.
But I think when we're at home, we get stuck in a rut, bored, and we're constantly eating. That's when the weight comes on. So,
Well,
I've noticed back home in the winter, we're inside. Out here in the winter, they're outside. And then it flips for the summer, we're outside, and Arizona has to be indoors because it's too stinking hot.
Is there any part of Arizona you could stay in during the summer?
Yes,
north.
North.
North,
I was in
go up to
Cholo.
go up to Flagstaff.
Fantastic. Cholo, Arizona. That's where I spent April, May, June. It's right when everything hit.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I got to be stuck somewhere, where is it going to be cool? So Cholo, Arizona.
So here's a question, and whoever wants to start and the answer can start. So once this pandemic hit, how did y'all handle dealing with your needs?
We came back to work site because we knew where the resources was until it got hot, and then we went up north. But we started venturing back home, and then that's when some of the states wasn't wanting you to stop overnight. Honey doesn't like to skip a gas station. You have a Class C, you guys got Class A's. It's like, oh, I need a drink. Well, how are we not going to stop? So we just turned around and came back. So that way we wasn't getting locked down somewhere. We're like, great. Now we have no access to water, no access to dump, and food. So, I mean, we stayed where we knew we could. And then when we had to move, we went up to the Flagstaff area and just found national. And there's I can't think of the app right now, but it can tell you where to find water and dump trash.
How about you, Gypsy? How did you handle this whole process of this pandemic?
When it first, nothing changed for me. When it first hit, I was still stocking at a friend's house in up northern part of the country. Things were handled a little differently. It wasn't as bad for us up in northeastern part of the country as other areas. So the only thing that changed for me is that every show I had booked got canceled. So that sucked because that was a big hit.
I couldn't find Lysol or toilet tissue. I had to get toilet tissue that goes out in one day.
Yeah.
Those little, and I was beside myself. It's like, please God, send somebody with some Scott toilet tissue and Lysol spray. It's all I want, God.
Yeah, see, we didn't, it wasn't quite like that up in my state. They never had trouble finding toilet paper or Lysol or baby wipes, and everywhere else in the country, everybody was freaking out. But New Englanders, I think, approach things a little differently.
Oregoners bought it all up.
Yeah,
in 2 days.
Just everybody thinks about bad weather and that kind of stuff. And us, it's like, yeah, whatever.
I love the news. I do. How did you handle the pandemic? Have you handled it? It's still going on. But in the beginning, when crap hit the fan.
Well, we were lucky. We were with family up in Buckeye, and we were going to leave after 2 weeks, and they said, "No, you're not. You're staying here." And we ended up staying for 2.5 months, and then it just got too hot. We went up to Flagstaff. But yeah, I remember going to Walmart, and things were fine. The next week, everything was gone. And so, food-wise, toilet paper-wise,
The regular
everything.
people found their way to the RV toilet paper. I was so pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're right at it too.
So, now what?
So you were saying they had groceries and toilet paper. They were running
Well,
out
yeah,
of
and
everything
then,
in a week.
it was all there one week, and then the next week, if I knew it was going to happen the next week, I mean, I went the next week, and I thought I was in another country. I mean, there was nothing food-wise on there. I got what I could. Luckily, we were with family that had extra food in that, but, I got what I could to help out, and we just stayed there, and when we headed out, then we hit Walmart, and it was a little bit better, but I mean, we went to 4 different stores just to find toilet paper, and we seen a guy along the road that had a big bag of toilet paper like you get at Costco, and we thought, oh yeah, he wanted $22 for it. We had $20 in cash, and he wouldn't take it. And it's like, fine. So we headed back, and it just happened that there was a Family Dollar just up the street from their house, and they had toilet paper. So we stocked up on it then. We got a couple rolls, bags then, And then as we left, when we headed up to Flagstaff, we hit Family Dollar again, got more toilet paper and whatever else food we could get. So, I mean, you have to do what you have to do. And being from my religion, we have food stored. So, I mean, I can't store a lot of stuff here, but things have got to be rearranged that I have to get more food. I'd rather have food than my craft things. My craft things are going to have to go. So,
Buying in bulk.
Buying in bulk, but
yeah.
we can't buy in big bulk. I mean, you have more room because it's just you. I have way more storage in that RV than I would have thunk, and every chance I get a thing of toilet paper. Especially when things feel like they're ramping up and there's concerns. It's like I will never be caught off guard because I never thought, like you said, you thought you were in another country.
Yeah.
When we went to the Walmart we go to in Eugene, I'm like, what is wrong? I mean,
Yeah.
people, there is other people who don't buy 10 rolls or 10 packages.
Mhm.
I just wondered what the purpose of it was.
I don't know. Somebody said it on the media and all hell broke.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But
like,
I think out here with us, if we buy in bulk, then it's like, we can share the cost. I'm going for, a case of soup. You want some? You want some? This is what it's going to cost, and we're going to divide the price up. So that's all we can do.
And you handled it
Totally different.
totally differently.
So I turned you on. I don't know if you watched Brad from Full Spectrum Survival. So I'm a bit of a prepper, which was also a longer story of why I sold my house. I saw what was coming. So everybody went from thinking I was crazy to like, oh, now people, I have street cred now. So I love this channel. It's one of my prepping channels I follow. He's a bit hyperbolic, but he's always been spot on with information. And he was talking about things were going to be shifting and that you wanted to be ready. So I already had toilet paper and food and dehydrated food. And so I had it and thought, if I never need it and everyone thinks I'm crazy, I don't care. But as it turned out, it was good that I had it. Of course, now I always add. And as far as like why I ended up in Sholo, I had a criteria. I thought if I'm going to be stuck, I need cool weather because it was summertime or spring and going into summer. I have a Berkey, which is a water filter, so I needed a body of water that would be within a mile to get to. So if I had to like go with my little cart or my bike, I could get gallons of water and bring it back to the RV. Right? You need food, you need water. Apparently, you need toilet paper, but that I wanted a hospital or a urgent care. So God forbid something happened, I had a place to go, and there needed to be a Walmart or something of that nature, so that I knew I could get supplies. And that, what place fit that criteria, and Sholo met that criteria. Yeah,
I was in a house that I've been in for a big chunk of my life, and it was definitely every man for himself. Although people inside our family were willing to share if someone did not get their need met, there were people who would share, but nobody was sharing their Lysol spray with the assholes.
and you know who you are.
Yes.
See, we had two closets in the class C. I had the big, 30 pack of toilet paper, the 24 packs of. I had bought that before this had broke out, because when I start getting low on the bulk, I'll buy another pack, slide it in. But the Lysol, I bought 4 packs of the 2 packs. So I had Lysol, I had all this before crap went down. So we were set up, but we were in Tucson. And that's a big city. And when all at once they did that lockdown where you couldn't be out, it was creepy. Yeah. Nobody walking the streets, nobody driving, the bus system wasn't running. And there we sat in this house, big subdivision with my family member. And I'm like, dude, we got to get out of here, because if it really hits, I do not want to be stuck in an RV in a city for, Yeah, because my little cousin got bit by a girl at the local grocery store there. She drew blood
Oh.
over a can of beans.
Oh, good Lord.
I said, I'm glad we got out of there when we did.
Yeah, the crazy starts coming out.
I would
Various
rather be
situations.
out like where we are right here. And that's where we stayed until it got too hot. The locals are always nice. There's always information to ask the local people. And we survived out through here, and then we went up, like I said, we went up to the Flagstaff area, and we bounced from National Forest to Forest. There's always like I don't know about y'all, but Dollar General just seems to just pop up out of nowhere. We make a joke about they're like cornfields back home. They just pop up. It ain't there, and then it's there. So there's always like a Dollar General or a Family Dollar. We did the canned meat because you couldn't get meat. You know, I don't like canned vegetables. I run some. That's what we used. But the canned meat and the canned vegetables, that's what we survived on. I'm not above that. We got by.
You,
Some of the
you
time.
eat what you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't like it, don't buy it. If you don't like, spam or something like that, don't buy it. Buy something else. Buy the chicken in a can. Buy, whatever it is. But I mean,
You got to learn that if it's not there, you got to find another alternative.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll use the canned chicken with rice and the cream of mushroom soup with
Chunky
it.
soups over rice is going to be great.
We did a lot of wraps. It's easy, some meat, some lettuce, tomato, and then when you couldn't find that, okay, I got cheese and meat.
Yep.
Okay. And for the vegetarian, they could probably just survive on the cheese and rice. But whatever we had in the cabinet, that's what we. I even made rice one night to put in a wrap, chicken in there.
Yeah. And with the Lysol, I learned how to make the alcohol and water and put the paper towels. You know, the paper towels that the mechanics use? So I did a whole little video on that. So you just have to make shift. You got to just figure out an alternative way to.
MJ over there made the hand sanitizer out of the rubbing alcohol and aloe vera.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then she cheated. We had someone had gifted us all some Pringles. So she cleaned out the Pringle can, made her a little roll of paper towel that would fit down in there, cut a hole in the lid, and put some alcohol in that in there. And there's our hand sanitizer and wipes.
EMJ, very smart.
You
So I want to shift just to another kind of topic. What time is it, by the way? And how many people do we have in the house? We've got 27. Hello, I don't know who's here. I see my sister's here. Olita Himmerly. All right. So it is almost 1 o'clock. Okay. So if you have to leave, I don't mind, obviously. There's a couple areas I'd like to talk about because, especially with you three, because you're channel builders. You have channels, and I'm curious, and we'll get input from Catherine on what she thinks about this all after you guys talk about it. But so in your channel, so you're Artist on the Road. Very smart name, very smart name. Couldn't have been, it was like, what is a target? You hit it in the middle, right? You did a bullseye on that. You did a bullseye on it. But so there's the actual work, and then there's the channel building. Yeah. So where are you at in your channel? Are you monetized yet, or?
Oh no, I'm still a tiny channel.
Okay. How many people do you have?
I don't know, 312 or something.
312.
Yeah.
She's a baby.
You should be way up there. I mean, really.
She had opportunity to make content.
I know. I've taken a couple months off just to kind of chill and unwind from corporate life and de-stress a little bit. So I haven't put out any videos in a while, and it was hard to devote a ton of time. So hold a full-time job, devote a ton of time to YouTube, which you guys know takes a significant amount of time, and still create. Designing just a single piece of jewelry, that can take days and days and days just to design it. Then I have to make it, and I still have to source material, and it was all just
much. at
too
once.
much. So just taking a little time off, but
You actually have a product you're selling. You're marketing from your channel, your jewelry or your art, whatever art you're
yeah.
working
So
on.
I just wanted to share that,
Uh-huh.
share what I do, and if anybody liked anything, I have my own website, gypsyjeanette.com. If you liked anything, you can go to my website if you actually want to help support a starving artist, although I'm not starving. But you know. Yeah, support a local small business, which is what I am, all American made, etc. But for the channel, I wanted to share a lot of the jewelry stuff, not just for the design and making, but my focus is on vintage and antique beads, and a lot of those to me tell a story. They tell a story of artisans and a craft style and skill sets that are being lost. The generations coming now don't want to do this stuff anymore. So a lot of the creations that I have, you'll never see them except in probably 1 to 2 decades. They'll all just disappear. I have beads that are 52 years old.
Wow.
And you'll never ever see them again. And unfortunately, most of them sit in vaults collecting dust instead of the world getting to see them. So I find them and create pieces of jewelry around them so that the world can see them, and maybe the stories will continue to be told.
I remember seeing one of your videos where you're really just working with your hands. That's the video is of you just working.
Your
Is it was
hands.
live streaming?
No,
Nope, not live. Okay, then it was just a video where I saw you working with your hands, and I definitely knew you were an artist of some sort.
For the longest time, I didn't know what she looked like. I just knew her hand.
yeah,
Right, because of the
I saw her
you
video
know,
showing her
yeah,
working.
the bracelets.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And your channel, Roy and Becky Travel. So how have you worked that? What do you do? What's your angle? If you were to put, so hers is jewelry, I mean art. So if you were to say, and Kim and I were discussing this yesterday, if I came and I watched your channel, what do you think your it thing is that makes your channel work, and how did you do this? Or are you still just sussing it out?
Well, apparently the dogs have pretty much stole our channel. I mean, everybody loves the dogs, but with us, you never know what we're going to get into. I guess that's the niche. We might just show up somewhere and, oh, hey, look what we found. We like the off stuff that people don't like to go off on a back end. Sadly, with honey, it's kind of hard, but we still get some really cool stuff going. I mean, we covered quartzite. The one guy didn't even know about the rock alignment up here. He went and did that.
The what?
The rock alignment is quartzite. He used it for World War II.
So you do content and you live stream 5 days a week.
That's enough. I usually like to be behind the camera. I don't like to be in front of it. Like a lot of if you go back far enough on our channel, we did reenactments. I'm behind the camera. I'm not out on that battlefield unless they throw me in there on a cycle. But I like to be behind.
And that's what got you guys started, correct?
Traveling,
What was that?
Traveling to the reenactments.
Reenacting.
Civil War, pre-Civil War. We've been invited out here, but we didn't bring any of our gear. So that's going to be another issue, how we can fit the gear. Because we have an officer. That's our other means of camping. But that started us, and then we just started traveling more and more. Even if it was just for a weekend excursion in our pickup truck, we'd go find something different. So that's just what we do. But the Civil War is what we started with. We can do cowboy era, before Civil War, and during Civil War. We started pricing the Revolutionary area, but man, that takes a lot of money for that era. One hat alone just for the guy is $200. So I can't make that hat because I'm not a hat maker.
Don't they do at Gettysburg, like the battle, yes, Gettysburg reenactment every year?
We have not went to that because they actually charge per reenactor to do that.
They charge the reenactor to do it?
Yes. Most of the ones we go to, we get free camping. Bring your own food because you're going to eat no matter where you're at. But we have a group that we go with. That's our guide commander, and then we just pitch a tent and we all throw in food together and eat. We don't charge. They don't charge us to come there. They don't charge. We have to have our own gunpowder. We have to have our own whatever necessities we need. But Gettysburg, they were charging the reenactors to come out onto the field for camp. I don't know if it's because of the insurance for that big of a crowd, but we've done some big reenactments in Illinois, Indiana, and never been charged. So I don't know what the deal is with Gettysburg. They were charging crack.
Because those kind of things would bring me to an area to see. I want to go back to the colonies and see the things that happen during the summer. I know there's some things that they do of reenacting and do live, not sure the right word for it, but where people reenact in one way or another. Demonstrations.
We don't have much footage on Trail of Courage. It wasn't really a YouTube channel then, but we did the Trail of Courage. And like Roy's best description is, we felt like we were an animal in the zoo on display. The questions people ask, is it real? Are you going to eat that? Is that baby real? Yes, we've been asked this. We didn't have the baby, but the lady next door to us had a baby in an old bike carriage. Is that baby real? He's moving, isn't he? Or I had the period of time what they called the soup bean. They'd open the lid up while it was cooking. Is that real? You gonna eat that? Well, yeah, so put the lid back on it, please. I have a picture of a ham that we had on a spigot on an open fire. Is that real? The flame's cooking it. And see the juices come off. Yeah. Are you guys gonna eat it? Yeah. But I'm like, but most of the time the people are really cool. But yeah, we've done some pretty out off the wall stuff during that. Met some really unique people.
Illinois has a good series going now with the Jeeping with Duffy.
Yeah.
That's going to turn into a thing. Other people are going to go Jeeping with Duffy. It's going to become Jeeping with Duffy.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't go on that trip. I probably couldn't handle it. I probably would have been laying in the back.
So here's a point. Oh, I'm gonna let you answer this also. So just kind of carry on. I've got a.
I'm fascinated by it.
Okay, keep going.
So cool.
So you guys have done some series.
I love going to those places. So thank you. Yeah. I love that stuff.
So you do series also.
Roy has, yeah.
Roy has done series on different hikes and different things that he's done.
Yes.
And so in context of building your channel, which you guys are actually monetized at this point, yes. Correct? And what did it take to become monetized?
We had to have a lot of work put into that channel. Editing is not easy. I can do it. I prefer not. I don't. Patience. That's the key. Patience. Roy could sit there for hours and edit. Me, after about an hour, I got to get up, walk away, so something don't go flying across the room. I just can't sit there and I can't do it.
It's micro work,
but I don't want to do it. Yeah, it's too tedious. I don't like editing. And like I said, I like to be behind the camera and then get to the editing. I like to
editing is not my best friend. So building your channel, Kim, did you intentionally start out to build the channel, or were you just documenting for family and friends?
I didn't know what I was doing. My thing was like the RVing. I didn't know it existed, so I really haven't thought about a YouTube channel. That's a little bit of a lie because what I was doing was learning. Like I came up with Rometown Girl, and I took a class on how you like put things on Instagram or this or that or whatever. And so I had to create something for that class. And so all I had was this 45-second video that went like, I got it on me! Like, that was the whole thing. And that's the only thing that sat up on my channel forever. And then Bob interviewed me, and I wasn't ready, but I gave out my channel, and it spiked, and I got all these subscribers just from a 45-second video. So then I had to create content because now I had a subscribership.
Yeah, people are
So,
watching.
but I still haven't, we were talking yesterday, I still haven't found my stride. So some of the things that I have been looking into, it started with a friend of mine wanted a solar channel for her son, who's going to be doing solar at a homestead type situation. Anyway, so she was asking me, who should I check out? And I said, they're like, just Will Trouse. I'm like, he's the solar guy. I said, what Bob is for van dwellers, Will is for solar. And in that moment, I thought, well, what am I? Like, I want people to think of Rometown Girl when there's some particular something like, oh, you go to Rometown Girl's channel for that. And I haven't found what that is yet. And I also, spent some time playing the comparison game, looking at all these channels that are, larger than me, started around the same time as me, some started way before. And I was looking at like, okay, here's how many subscribers they have, but how long have they been doing it? And I got a dose of reality. A lot of these people have been doing it for like ever. So for me to be like, why aren't I further along? And I'm thinking like, shut up, you got a few years yet, And I also noticed, which gives me hope, that when I would look at the content, what I see people doing today, it's not necessarily what they had been doing 2 years ago, 6 years ago. So I also recognize that they were finding themselves, and what I see today and the sub counts I see today is because they finally hit their stride and it took off. So,
And you are monetized, correct?
I am monetized.
Can you mind sharing your sub count?
I have like around 3,300 subs, but I've been sitting at 3,300 subs for months. Like it barely moves. So that's frustrating. But like I said, I recognize that there are some cases where people pop and blossom, and it happens fast. Not the way it's going for me. And so I'll just keep trying what is going to be the thing that's going to land and hit. What do you guys want?
Tell her, what do you guys want? So it didn't happen that way for you either. You're kind of,
It took us a year, almost a year to get to that point to being monetized. I think we hit it in our 8th or 9th month, but still, we still ain't quite found. Apparently, people like to see me cook, but I just don't like cooking videos. I don't like to be on camera like that. I'd rather be out hiking than cooking. But
well, I think setting ourselves up, doing something we don't actually intend on including it as part of our channel is potentially a problem for us. For me, I'll say for me, I do like cooking. One of the problems in here is, as y'all know, anybody who's got a smaller RV, and 25 foot is not a big RV. I've got a full kitchen, but I don't have a lot of room to do things in.
and carry what you need.
Yes. I mean, and what's really funny is when I can sit at my table, make, warm up my water for coffee or tea or whatever, and then get the silverware out of there. I never have to move a foot.
Yeah.
It's like, when I get brave enough and someone's offered to let me drive their RV in this area when they have to go dump to see, if I can, what I think of driving a larger rig.
I haven't drove the honey very much. I can tow a trailer behind, but I can't back it up. So I usually have, I need help. Somebody want to back this thing up? But normally Roy is the driver and I'm the navigator.
Has there been any, so I am coming to you, Cal. So has there been any bumps in the road with the channel building piece of this that you learned from and thought, okay, let's now that's what that's about, or here's where we're going to go with this, or there's a light that came on, or a light that went off and said, no way am I continuing with that.
My advice is to kind of keep an eye on who you let in. Some people could be good for you, some people could be bad. Fill them out really good. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Sound advice.
Sound advice.
As far as like what has popped for us, nothing yet, really. I mean,
I'm going to disagree with you. And I'm going to disagree with you. So I think for me, the reason I followed you for the last year or so, or maybe more than that, but really most every day we watch Roy and Beck Travels on our TV at home. And then I get my phone out to make comments. I need to get a thing for my TV and my RV. But anyway, so it's you guys as a couple and the consistency of showing up and doing it and just having a conversation. That's what I particularly like. I watch the videos too, and I like Roy's where he is taking us, because Arizona can not only be a rock pile. There's nothing wrong with Quartzsite, Arizona, folks. It's kind of grown on me a little bit, but I'm from the land of trees, and so seeing Roy go hiking, and I would never get in a Jeep with anybody and go. Never, ever, Cliff, never going to happen. So I get to live that through Roy.
Yeah.
And, but watching you guys just talk and have a morning, that's why one of the reasons I used to always give you the cup of coffee is because it's like, good morning. Good morning, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm here with you with your cup of coffee.
Well, that's the great thing about the morning lives. And there's sort of a regular group of us that are all in them. It's because that's our way of hanging out with each other to chat and have coffee and be together.
And I know that time's coming when
Yes. Don't say it.
I know.
Don't say it.
We'll be doing lives no matter what.
Yes. Well, we'll be back together again.
So yeah. Hey, you never know about us. We're gonna just pop up that. I won't say what our one friend said about us, but we're like poop. Just poop. There it is.
So your thing, Kim, what pops for me on your channel is, and when your mom had passed and you were gone for like months, you were off air completely. And I noticed, and I couldn't remember, like Rometown Girl. I always remember your little thing, your logo. But what pops for me with your channel is that you are such a fun, energetic, you really want to have a nice time out there. I don't have a big thing for labyrinths. You do, and you make them. And I watch them because I like you the person. And I didn't know you the person, but I felt like I knew you in some way. And so as a consumer of YouTube, I watch people I like. Occasionally, there have been a couple people that I watch some of their stuff, and I'm not extremely excited about them, but they had something I needed to learn, and I just bit my own tongue in half, and I watched their thing. And you don't have to subscribe to everybody, by the way. And I'm aware I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so that's okay. But I do think your thing for me, as someone who likes to watch you, is that you've got a good energy. You're out there doing it. You don't like necessarily outdoors, but you're there. Now that seems like quite a, what do you call it, a dichotomy, or what's it? Very interesting to me as someone who's studied a lot of social science. And now I think like my family and human service degree I got, and then half of my master's degree in public policy. What the hell was I thinking? I needed to take classes like you took, on how to post here and do this and do that. What a waste of $110,000.
Oh, I'm sure you got good stuff.
So anyways, yeah. So I would just say I differ with you. I think you guys have some really great stuff going on every channel. Your art and your personalities and your connections, your connectedness to each other for you and Roy. So that will bring me to Catherine. So Catherine, you watch these ladies and their in this case, partner. When you're thinking about what draws you to a YouTube channel overall?
What they're doing,
Okay.
where they're going. Mainly just learning about the person and what they're doing. Like when I was following you from the beginning of you looking for your RV, been there, done that. And, I'm down here and I couldn't help because you're up there in Oregon. And so, when you had your live chats and that's when I came in to tell you, yes, do this, don't, to give my, 2 bits on it because, been there, done that. But I mean, mainly I follow everybody because they're my family. Tiny Full House, they're my family. I follow them because where are they going? What are they doing? Is everybody okay? Even though I'm texting, I call them, but it's not the same. But mainly keeping up on everybody. YouTube is my TV. I gave up TV years ago. It was boring. YouTube was more fun. I can learn more about this life type and learn about something's wrong with the rig. Homer can't figure out what it is, so I do the research of it, and then I say, look, this is what I found. This is maybe how we can fix it. Same way with what did I go to YouTube to? I don't know. Just something happens in the rig, and I need to figure out how do I fix it. Because Homer's not always going to be there, and just that, I guess. But it's mainly my TV.
So another question came up in my head after our conversation yesterday, and you and I talked about this, Kim, was that at some point in time, each person out on the road will probably have to look at not being able to do it for one reason or another, a serious illness that just happens, or first, before I ask that question, are there any organizations within the traveling community, nomad community, that you really you feel like I really want to stay connected to this organization because they offer these things as offer these things to me today or in the future?
Yeah, we were talking about the escapees, which I like the escapees. The escapees have such a variety of what they offer. So they've got an annual rally, let's call it, and it's called the Escapades. And they'll do one here in Tucson and then one somewhere else in the United States, back in Tucson, somewhere else in the United States. So it gives you an opportunity to travel. It costs money though, it's not free. And then it's like a week or so of nonstop seminars and talks. They are generally sponsored, like they're trying to sell you something, but so what? If you're intrigued by what they're selling it at a discount, buy it. And if not, you're getting really great information. And they've got, you can pay an extra charge and get your vehicle weighed and find out that you're way overweight and you got to do something about it. And they've got a boot camp if you're really brand new and you really want to get the overview. They also have discounts, right? So if you don't participate in the escapades and that's not your thing, you can get a discount at lots of different RV parks and campgrounds. So there's that. And then they also have things available for when you are in need of support. Like if you were going to have surgery and you needed, you don't have a house, you live in your RV, but you need somebody to like check in on you and bring you soup or run you off to the doctor. They literally have a particular campground or RV park that you can go to. And the other people that go there are the people that get too old and they shouldn't be driving. And again, they can go there and feel safe. And what's really neat, and I really want to do this, is when you're on the healthy side of the spectrum, you can go and be part of the people that help them, who's taking them to the doctor or bringing them the soup or checking in on them. So I like this idea of you can go and be in service while you're still healthy enough, and then God forbid, if you ever need to be the one that's taken care of, you have got a place to go. So, you know, and they have the whole mail forwarding thing, and they've got it all worked out, so it's just like a one-stop resource. So I find the escapees have just like so much to offer. That's a really good one.
So if somebody who is one of my moderators could drop a link for the escapees, I would really appreciate a link for the escapees. And we're still at 27. Yeah. Thank you all for hanging out. All right. How about Becky? Do you have is there any organization associated with your
Well, we just signed up for the Thousand Trails camping pets. So that way, if we're in, we prefer to boondock. But there's some areas where there's really not a whole lot of options, but there's a campground there. So if we can get an opening, we can go in there and stay the 2 weeks and then stay out of the system, what, 7 days? Yep. And move on.
Right.
But we prefer boondocking. But we just signed up for that, and we've been looking at one you mentioned, escapees. Yes, for a mail forwarding service.
Okay, so how much does it cost to sign up for escapees?
Like $40.
40 bucks
Like the year,
for the year.
and the change.
Oh wow!
They have areas where they can move back to.
Yeah, they've got special parks that, as an escapee member, it's really confusing, so I'm not going to go there. But they do have parks where like people actually think they like own, almost like a co-op. They own their own sites, and then when the person's not there, the park can rent it out to someone like you or me. So yeah.
Wow, that's good. So are you guys a member of any organizations that you feel are useful to you guys on the road or potentially past being on the road?
In the beginning with our American Clipper, there is American Clipper Club. So if you have a particular rig, you can look up to see if you want to be part of that, even though some of the people that were there didn't have clippers, then they had something else, but they enjoy the people that they're with. Same way with, I think, the escapees, that if you find a tribe that you want to be with, check them out, because that's a lot of the stuff that I was just trying to figure out. What do I put in the rig? That's everything I found in the forum for the American Clipper. So a lot of them have forums that you can be able to talk to other people other than not, doing YouTube. So, like Bob had a forum at the beginning, so that, you'd be able to find people to travel with or whatever. But I mean, it's just finding what your niche is, whether it's knitting, quilting. You're going to find a group that are in an RV.
I think the one organization that we've also found is the Thousand Trails Pass.
Zone Pass.
Yes, and so we are zones northwest and southwest. So when we go home, sometime the next couple weeks, if our solar is not on, because it's way too big to take in and out, in and out, in and out, we have something to fall back on. And I like that idea. We can also be hooked up, fully hooked up, don't have to worry about dumping. So it's kind of like a break. It will be like a big break for Richard. And let's be real honest, he does all of that work. I'm learning how, but he does do the work. So
if they want to know more, I did a video with Bob, and we went through the whole thing of Thousand Trails.
Yeah,
okay.
So that's
yes.
I invite you to go Google Bob's Cheap RV Living and then Thousand Trails. And the video I did with him will come up. And I really tried to kind of give you the big picture.
There's also another organization I belong to. It's free of charge. And I'm trying to think of the name of it. It is, and Bob has actually been promoting it some too, where there's lots of different categories. Like, if you want to, our village. So yes, I've signed up for our village, and I see who's come into my neighborhood, so to speak. And now that I have an RV, I'll be able to be more connected in different ways. So how about you, Gypsy? Is there any organizations related to RV that you belong to that are helpful, or they could be helpful in the future for you?
I have Passport America
Okay.
right now. That's
And we know and mention that. Yeah.
all I have. At some point, I'm gonna do escapees when I need to re-register and re-license, but I just renewed all that stuff, so I'm good for a while.
Oh, I got another one.
Okay.
Costs a little bit because I just did it. Was $75. So, oh God, what is it? It's FMA.
Family Motor Coach.
Those people. Okay.
Family Motor Coach Association of America.
So
Okay.
FCMA. All right. You join them. They've got lots of things, whatever. But the main reason is part of what you are covered for is this medical evacuation thing. And if God forbid something should happen, I've said God forbid so many times, I don't know why, but anyway, should anything happen medically where you are unable to drive your RV, they will get your RV, take it to where you say, and most importantly, they will take your animals and fly them or whatever they have to do to get them to whoever is supposed to be taking care of them. So for the $75 a year, it gives me a great peace of mind to have that in my back pocket.
That just gave me chills because, we have this old doggy, and in a moment we'll just go over travel with animals, but we have this old doggy that if something happened to us, what would happen to Patty Cake? I mean, really, what happened to Patty Cake? And so that's good to know. And also, if you could drop the links for Passport America and for Family Motor Coach.
Family Motor Coach Association. Yeah, somebody just Googled that. Family Motor Coach.
Okay. All right. And then the other one you had?
The Thousand Trails.
1,000 Trails, and then the Texas. Escapees. Yes, escapees.
And I'm going to get Harvest Host. That's another one I want.
Okay. Harvest Host, you want to tell them a little bit about Harvest Host? Somebody may be here who doesn't know.
Oh, essentially it's people will offer a spot to park on their property for a night. They usually require you to be fully enclosed camper because they don't provide electricity or anything like that. And a lot of it is at wineries, etc., breweries, that type of thing. And it's just a safe place if you're traveling through somewhere. It's a safe place to park for a night, and usually it's beautiful scenery. That's called Harvest Host.
And there is another one, Boondockers Welcome. Does anybody know any?
I don't have
Okay.
nice things to
So-
say. Okay.
Well, Boondockers Welcome is another alternative. However, some people may not have great experience with it, but Boondockers Welcome is another option, and they're not expensive, and they can have some hookups. One of the things is they do have some hookups there, although they are less expensive, I believe, than Harvest Host. So Boondockers Welcome, Harvest Host, Family Motor Coach of America, and Escapees.
And I got one more that you're overlooking that I use all the time. I want to see. Kind of goes along with what you mentioned, Catherine, is Facebook. I belong to Facebook groups that have different categories. And I love it because in the middle of the night when I'm freaking out because I think somebody's trying to break in or something, I can just, or the coyotes are surrounding me. That happened one night. I can just put a post, and it can be 2 a.m. and boom, there's people. I don't feel like I'm alone. They got ideas. That has been cost nothing, and oh my God, have relied on that like you don't know.
All right, so that's true. There's a Facebook group for everything. Every fart crossways, every beautiful scenery, every nice thing we can think of, there is a group for. All right, so my final question, well, and I think it's actually a fairly important question. Well, first of all, did I come to you, Catherine, about? Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so the final question is about safety and security. So we've got 1, 2 women who travel alone and 2 that travel with other people. So safety and security, first of all, has anybody had a situation where they were legit? I know you had one where you really weren't. So is there anybody who had a legit situation where they felt like, yeah, this might really be a problem and I either need help or I need to just go? No. Okay. Okay. You've been on the road a long time. You guys have been out a year. You've been out about half a year, so something like that. And you've been out 5. Have you ever felt threatened?
Not threatened, but sometimes you go to places that you see beer bottles, syringe, and it's like, no, we're out of here.
Yes,
But other than that, yeah, we've had to knock on the door, but it's usually the cops looking for somebody else or my mistake. But it's never been,
You've never been taken in handcuffs.
no. Nope, I have a clean record.
If you all can't see this, but you hear Lucretia saying stuff in the background. She's cracking herself up.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but she's sitting over there. She's in tears because she's laughing so hard. I'm trying to throw that out there.
Things just come up in my head, Here comes Catherine out in handcuffs.
Not
They got the wrong person.
Never gonna happen to this lady.
It wasn't me.
Must be.
Nope.
We went to the Slab City, and I did not feel safe camping there, so we
Yeah,
didn't
I would-
stay.
We went,
just
but it was
drive
with a
through?
group with
Yeah.
Audra and everybody. So I
You gotta
mean,
go in a
there was
group.
like 20 of us, and we were in an area that wasn't, was
Scary.
not known for the bad parts. I mean, you could find. Eric's been there several times and had trouble, but I mean, when we were there, it's like been there, done that, ain't going again.
Yeah, I just that gut instinct. If your gut tells you you don't feel comfortable there, don't stay.
Mhm.
And I just
Visit
did not
during
feel
the day and
comfortable.
get the hell out at night.
Yeah, we didn't stay the night.
So, as a single woman who has terrible anxiety, so I overreact to everything in the world, I just I pick my situations. So, in other words, I started on this road and I had 1,000 trails immediately because I knew that meant, I know it's illusionary to some degree, but I'd be behind a gate. There is a ranger, there are other people. So it gave me a sense of security. When I boondock, even 3 years out here, and God bless all of you adventurers that go, I don't even know how you go where you go and sleep at night because I can't do it. I couldn't sleep at night and I was like within ice. I could see a campground and I still thought somebody was coming to murder me. So I will not boondock unless there is at least one other person that I know. And I can be alone all day long. I don't know why I think nothing bad happens during the day, but whatever. But at night, I have to know that I am boondocking with at least one person who knows me. And if that's not the case, then I suck it up and I pay to park somewhere because that's just how I make sure I don't feel safe because I can't trust my intuition because my intuition thinks everything's threatening.
Yeah.
So I have no barometer. So I will pick my situations to set them up to make me feel safe.
And you don't meet strangers. I mean, you go right out and you say, "Hey, hi, I'm Kim."
Oh God,
and
it's terrible. I don't suggest anybody do half the things I do because I have on occasion casino camps, and I was in a fairground one night. Nobody was there. There goes your house. Nobody was there except me. And I was very panicked about why there was no other people. I thought, here it was. It's a fairground, right? So I'm behind a gate. It should be safe. Anyway, as I'm deciding what to do, a car drives in, an RV drives in. I don't know who's in the RV, but I am beelining out there. Are you staying tonight? Oh, thank God. Okay, I'm not alone. And this person could have been a murderer. What do I know?
Right.
So I don't recommend other people do that, but my anxiety gets run away with me, and I have done things like that. But I figure at least one person could hear me scream, and maybe 911. That's Honey.
Some shade.
oh, he's coming to. Coming to show this. Well, that was very kind of you, Roy. Talk about your house being able to move.
Babies are in there.
Oh, good Lord. The last, and actually, I came up with 2 more questions, and it'll be really quick because it's been a while now. So, have any of you been able to go to the RTRs, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous?
2.5.
2.5? Nope.
Nope.
Yes,
Yes.
2 of them,
Okay.
3 of them.
Did you find them helpful?
Yeah, at the beginning, but the later ones they brought out more people. Like I didn't know that Robin from Creative RVing was there. I could have met her. Dan was there. Snazza, the truck driver, he was there talking about truck driving, but I got to meet him later. So you know, they're not always the same. So you learned your basics from them. And, you know, now they're having guest speakers, but, you know, they haven't been able to do it with the pandemic.
Yes.
So,
Yep. This year was virtual. They did do
Yeah,
it. It just
they
was
do,
virtual.
yeah.
And what was your experience like?
Oh, I love them. Now, I love the ones that before this whole issue with it cost too much to have the permits, because I found that beyond just the classes, what I loved was you've got all these people parked in this area.
Yeah.
And you gotta like hoof it to the classes. And there'd be 2 a day, like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And so to find your way through the ravines and stuff from your RV to the where the presenters were, you start passing the same people, and so you start making friends, and you start, like, whoever's in your little area you might not know, and you start having campfires together. And so I have made, you know, lifelong RV friends from the RTRs. And so I love the classes, the information's great, but that was always the aspect that I thought just set it apart from everything else, was this, God, you just get to meet so many people and see so many different ways of doing this. And, you know, because you're walking past them over and over again, you get the familiarity and you start talking. And so that to me is like the greatest. And, you know, they kind of did the unofficial gatherings this year where there's not an RTR, but we're all going to be over here. And it was a great alternative. It was a great alternative way to do it, because it captured that aspect of it. So that's my 2 cents. There was something else I was going to say, but it fell out of my head.
Well, that was, you know, I just wanted to get, since I haven't been able to do one other than I watched some of
The
the
caravan. That's what I wanted to say before I forget.
Okay.
When those caravans come back, you gotta go. Greatest thing going. Greatest thing going. So they'll designate somebody like a hospitality coordinator. That's sort of like camp host for the caravan. And you could go online, you could see where the coordinates are, you can go, you could show up and know nobody. They will greet you with open arms. You can know nothing about anything, and there will be 27 people to help. Oh my God, it's fabulous. I cannot wait for those caravans to come back, because that is one of the greatest things that I have seen for this community.
And I'm going to say one thing about coordinates. Make sure you have the right coordinates.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Please.
Check before you go.
Please. You never know what you're going to miss.
Yeah, ours took us to China.
Ah!
And they sent the coordinates out wrong. And I'm like, China?
I'm not going.
I'm not going there.
No.
Yeah, so always double check your destination
We
point.
got to do a class on how to drop pins,
Yes.
how to take the coordinates and turn them into something. Yeah.
I
I still don't know how to
yet.
do that either.
All right. So is there anything anybody else would like to add about this life? And I had started this with, you know, kind of reflecting on Nomad land. And it could not have reflected on that without asking about the RTR, because that has traditionally been, and I can tell you for the first year that we started thinking about this, we watched everything Bob Wells day and night. I really became to believe I could poop in a bucket. I don't want to poop in a bucket. I just don't. But I will if it comes down to that. And trust me, that bathroom is not much more than pooping in a bucket. It has a shower, but
Didn't Sue Ann have the greatest
yes. And
line in
Sue
the whole movie?
Ann Carlson.
You just moved for Gettysburg.
Yes. So if you could drop a link for our for Nomad Land, and also for cheap RV living, and
How?
how. So the last thing I just want to actually more about information giving than about. So has anybody had experience with HOWA? You have had experience with HOWA?
Well, I mean, I've done some of their class. I've presented.
That's right.
They have Saturday classes. They are excellent. I highly recommend them. So I shouldn't say every Saturday because I don't know what schedule they're on, but they do Saturday classes. They bring people in to do presentations. It's all virtual. People have gotten they do stellar presentations. And then they have Q&A. And the Q&A, oh my God, it's fantastic. And, like I just edited one for them about Baja and going to Baja. And I'm like, oh, really? I mean, it's just, they pick brilliant topics. And so I highly recommend those Saturday classes, those virtual classes.
So HOWA is Homes on Wheels Alliance. Homes on Wheels Alliance, because these are our homes, and they do have emergency funds, and they also do a thing every year where or I don't know if they did it this year, where they get donated either money or like Dodge Grand Caravan.
It's coming up again in March.
Okay, there's coming up again in March, and they build this out and people apply. So if you're someone who is in need of that, they have criteria because people are giving them money, by the way. They're a nonprofit organization. They have somebody they answer to called the federal government. So they have to follow some rules and regulations. And I want to work for them badly. I would love to work for HOWA. So because I believe in what they do for people. So anyways, well, thank you, ladies. Again, drop the link for what I say.
Rumtown Girl.
Roy and Becky's Travels.
Artist on the road.
And thank you to our special guest, Catherine Cook, who supports everybody and is there every time I places. Every
NNs
place.
are everything.
I think I saw her at Walmart. No. A Dairy Mart and a Walmart all one day, and then everybody's all right. So thank you guys for showing up. You do not know how much I appreciate it. I see Kaylee. I love you, Kaylee. And
She's the best.
Maggie 2263. And yes, I do have a little burn. If you're my family and you're still in here, I'll survive. I'll survive. I'm getting color. That's what we're calling it, color. All right. So thank you guys, and have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be happy. And see you down the road.
Burning up the roads. Okay, baby.
Yeah,